To be a complete Ajax expert, you should be capable of writing code to interface with web services and web methods without any of ASP.NET's Ajax controls. In this lesson, you will use the Ajax function of JQuery to call a web method directly, without any automation. It is, however, unlikely that you will ever want to do this when working in the Visual Studio environment. The technique that you will learn in this lesson might be useful when working outside Visual Studio. For example, when you need to work with PHP or JSP web applications. This lesson also introduces JSON, or JavaScript Object Notation. JSON syntax provides a way to define objects within JavaScript. The JQuery Ajax function requires an object for its argument, which requires the use of JSON. To begin this lesson, open the MegaChat project from your sample files folder. And open default.aspx in source view if it isn't open already. The sendMessage function currently calls the sendMessage web method by using the pageMethods object that is automatically generated by the Script Manager control. For more on this, see Lesson 9.7. Remove the code pagemethods.sendMessage. You're going to replace this code using the JQuery Ajax function, allowing you to call the sendMessage web method without needing a Script Manager control. Now add the following code to the start of the sendMessage function. $.ajax, begin brackets, end brackets, semicolon. Now add the following code inside the brackets following the $.ajax function. Begin curly brackets, type, colon, post, comma, URL, colon, default.aspx / send message, comma, content type, colon, application / JSON, comma, data type, colon, JSON, comma, end curly brackets. This is JSON code that creates an object with 4 properties. The URL property tells the Ajax function to send a request to default.aspx / send message. This is the syntax that is needed to address a web method on a specific web page. In this case, the sendMessage web method on the default.aspx page. Because the request is sent using JavaScript, the page won't need to refresh in order to send the request. Instead, the request and response process will be handled by your JavaScript code using Ajax. Now add the following code on the next line inside the curly brackets. Data, colon, space, begin quotes, begin curly brackets, message content, colon, space, begin single quotes, end quotes, plus message, plus begin quotes, end single quotes, end curly brackets, end quotes. The data property uses JSON to create an object with a single message content property. Message content is the argument that is required by the sendMessage web method. Note that JSON properties are always named. so they do not have to be specified in any particular order. Test your code now by clicking Debug, Start Debugging. When the page loads, enter a username and press Enter. Then click in the box at the bottom of the page, type test message and press Enter. The breakpoint is encountered and you should be returned to Visual Studio. If you're not automatically returned to Visual Studio, return to it manually without closing your web browser. You added a breakpoint to the sendMessage web method in Lesson 9.7. Hover your mouse cursor over the message content argument to check its value. As you can see, your jQuery code sent the value to the web method correctly. This code would work even without a script manager control on the page. You can use exactly the same technique to send a request to any web service or web method by simply changing the URL property. Stop debugging now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 9.10. Directly call a web method using jQuery and JSON.